But then two, hey, look, man, like, can we just celebrate the fact that you didn't move backwards? Because that, and many times, is a win. It is a win to not realize that, oh man, I let myself slip 3, 4, 5 steps backwards. Now I gotta work my way back up to where I just was. Hey man, sometimes just holding the line is a win.
What if you could build a business in the modern world as big or as small as you want without having to compromise the things that were the most important to you in the very beginning? This is the Wealthy Consultant Talks Podcast with Taylor Welch and Mike Walker, as they share with you today their learning lessons from stories in their experiences over the past 10 to 15 years and share with you right here, right now. Let's get into it.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Mike Walker here. Excited to have you join us for another episode of the Wealthy Consultant Podcast. Today I want to share some insights into two concepts. One, tactical, something you can implement into your business right away. And also one a little bit more philosophical, if you will, something that's going to really allow you to take the long frame for your business, the long haul, and really survive any kind of adversity that you might encounter out there as an entrepreneur, as a leader, a manager, a consultant, whatever it is that you identify as. I'm very confident that this insight I'm going to share with you today is going to be applicable to something that you can do inside of your business starting today. All right. So the first thing is I kind of want to give you some context here. So one of the things that I spend quite a bit of time working with clients on here at the Wealthy Consultant, and specifically within Chamber, our highest level of consultancy, is what we call QBRs, quarterly business reviews, QBRs, quarterly business reviews. And these are naturally done on a 90-day cadence, right? Every quarter. And what we are doing is essentially looking back. We want to first spend 3-5 minutes tops, really reflecting back on the previous 90 days. What did we like? What did we not like? Any kind of attribution that we can gain, insights that we can gain from the results that we saw, right? Because the worst thing, there is actually something worse than losing or not hitting your goal. It's not gaining any clarity as to why, right? And inversely of that, if you win, but you don't know how you won, then you're never going to be able to find that energy or that frequency or that process or strategy again, right? You're just kind of like, oh yeah, we hit it out of the park, but we really don't know why. So make sure that regardless of whether quote unquote win or lose, my argument would be there is no lose as long as you gain insights. Again, as long as you get that attribution, okay, yeah, we kind of slipped there. We should do this next, do that next, whatever it may be, right? Because now you've taken that data and turned it into something actionable. All right. So back to the QBR process. So every 90 days, we reflect very briefly on these one-on-one calls with clients. Again, gaining some insights, some clarity as to what happened over that previous 90 days. And then we quickly turn to the other side of that coin and we start projecting forward. What do we want the next 90 days to look like? And I really love this 90-day cadence because it allows just enough time to get some serious stuff done, but it's also not so far out where it just starts getting kind of vague or a little bit too macro, like, oh yeah, in 3 years from now, we're going to be doing this, or my 10-year plan. Hey, all good things. I love a 3-year game plan. I love a 10-year vision, all those things. Absolutely. You want those too, but it lacks a sense of urgency and potency, right? Like it's not quite to the level where you can just taste the end or taste that result, right? It's just not close enough. And so, setting 1 day, week, weekly goals or monthly goals. So these are part of that process, but the 90-day cadence I've personally found to be a really great sweet spot. It's long enough to get something truly meaningful done. Like you can make some transformative results in a 90-day period. But again, it's also not so long to where it feels like, wow, I hope one day I see the end result, right? So it's a really great metric. Long story short, we do these QBRs with all our clients, and it's proven to be exceptionally effective. In fact, every team lead here within TWC also implements this exact same concept as we develop our quarterly initiatives here in-house as well. So highly suggest you take that process. If you're a client of ours, you already know what that looks like. But otherwise, just explore what that could look like for you in terms of gaining insights from the previous 90 days, and then also starting with the end in mind, really reverse engineering success by having absolute clarity. What do you want the next 90 days to look like? And during this process, though, I want to share something with you that probably a lot of people won't talk to you about. And that is that sometimes, clients will get to the end of the 90-day period and they go, you know what, Mike, like, I didn't hit that goal at all. Like I didn't even get close. It's like, all right, well, what do we got to do, man? Like what was it? Again, going back to attribution, what was it that kept us from reaching that end result, right? That's what we're interested in. Because there is a fallacy that I see in business. I've been in this game a long time, guys, like over 2 decades. Okay. I'm putting some date on myself here, I know, but I've been in the developmental and entrepreneurial space for over 25 years. And I have seen a fallacy that gets perpetuated across all the gurus online and all the videos and books that you can see, that there's this perpetual, progression. And I disagree with that. I don't think that that's actually normal, nor do I even think it's healthy. And you rarely even see that in nature. If you ever want to get into like true wisdom, not just tactical insights or strategies, but I'm talking like true wisdom, look at nature. Everything is a fractal pattern of nature, right? From the smallest of microns to the largest of universes, you can see these patterns are fractals of each other. They mirror each other, right? And rarely in nature do you see something that is just perpetually moving up and to the right, if you will, or just perpetually improving all the time. It's not really like that. Everything moves in cycles. Everything moves in seasons, right? And our businesses, our lives as a whole are exactly the same way. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes you feel like you're peak state, just totally firing. And other times you're like, man, I'm just focused on getting myself out of bed sometimes, right? Like there are patterns, and obviously there are some deeper than others. But what I wanted to share with you today is this concept or this myth that I got to be progressing forward all the time. Now, sure. Hey, if you're listening to this, likely you're probably fairly goal orientated. You're probably at that, what I call the entrepreneurial DNA, right? We are driven. We are passionate visionaries, leaders, go-getters, right? That's what we do. And I get that 100%. I get that 110%. I get that. Okay. But I wanted to share this reality with you because it is a reality that you can't always be in growth mode. There are going to be times where you're going to have a season that isn't about progression. It's simply about not going backwards. It's not about slipping into regression. Okay. So sometimes it's not progression. Sometimes it's just not slipping backwards and going into rather like regression. Right. And so, in talking with this particular client, and again, this is certainly not a unique scenario. There are multiple clients that will experience this over time. In fact, every single entrepreneur will, if you're just being honest. You're going to have a season where you realize, man, I did not get any farther than I wanted. And my prompt to that, my response is almost always the same, which is first, okay, well, let's get attribution like we talked about earlier. But then two, hey, look, man, like, can we just celebrate the fact that you didn't move backwards? Because that, and many times, is a win. It is a win to not realize that, oh man, I let myself slip 3, 4, 5 steps backwards. Now I got to work my way back up to where I just was. Hey man, sometimes just holding the line is a win. Okay. And I really wanted you to internalize this because, a lot of people, they'll get to the end of the QBR process and the end of the quarter and we're reviewing and they feel down on, they feel kind of beat up and deflated because they're like, man, I had these big benchmark goals and I didn't hit them. And that, of course, doesn't exactly give you the confidence or the excitement or enthusiasm to want to what? Go get after it and try to accomplish it again, right? You got to figure yourself out here. And that's really what I want to share with you today was the concept that, hey, look, sometimes celebrating the win is simply about not slipping backwards, holding the line, making sure that you don't go back. Okay. So remember, it's not always about progression. Sometimes it's just not implementing or not rather, slipping backwards into regression. And that absolutely can be a win because in some seasons, that's the name of the game is just don't slip backwards, hold the line, keep the focus, stay consistent. All right. And you will break through. Again, it is a seasonal element. When it's summer, think winter. When it's winter, think summer. Okay. Because it's all going to come back again. So if you're, again, peak state firing, you're seeing tops of the mountains right now and you feel like nothing can stop me. Hey, that's great. Ride that momentum, baby. Go for it. But you need to prepare yourself that there will be a winter again, right? There will be a valley coming up. That's just name of the game. So make sure that you are preparing for that, right? If you are digging the well, you start digging the well when you're thirsty, it's already too late. Okay. So I want you to prepare your mind, prepare your resources, prepare your business strategy so that you can weather those ups and downs. It's just going to happen. And again, it's not always about progression. Sometimes it's about fortifying your business, fortifying your mindset, fortifying your health, whatever it's got to be to make sure that you don't slip backwards in those more challenging times. All right. I hope this finds you well, guys. I hope that you got something out of this. If you did, drop a comment below or post somewhere wherever you see this video. I'd love to get your comments on it. And as always, thank you for following us here on the podcast and all our different online platforms. Excited to have you here. And we will see you on another episode of the Wealthy Consultant Podcast. Take care, guys. Love you.